What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday, and today we are going to be talking about some of the toys that I'm not sure about their future. I want to make a couple of declarations pretty early on that it's not personal, it's just business, it's just looking at it objectively and giving you my opinion. I don't have any inside information, I don't have any sort of insight into what's going on necessarily outside of what's already out there. It's just me looking at the field and giving you my opinion. Let me also say that it's not a declaration of war against anybody. Like, all of these projects, I legit wish them the best and hope for nothing other than their success. For one, because I either want to add the pieces that they're teasing into my own personal collection, so I have a vested interest in what they do. For two, just because I'm always on the side of fans stepping up, getting involved, taking all of this on their own, trying to make a product to fill the gap that suits their own collection. People joke about the amount of podcasts that I do. The reason why I do them is because when I started this, there wasn't enough thoughtful, engaging podcast about the matter in my taste that I wanted, so I created that. I'm always behind them. I support them all. Any of them would be welcome on this platform to come and talk. Some of them I've had on this platform already. So I just want to make it abundantly clear that this isn't an attack. It's just me reading the field, and if anything, I'm praying that I'm reading it wrong. While we're on the topic of being wrong, when you make videos and speculate, or you make videos and you give opinions based on evidence, or people ask you for your thoughts on any given thing, and then you give your thoughts without being able to see the future, just from reading the room, and then people want to run back and rub it in your face that you were wrong, shut up. Part of this is being wrong. A good part of it has been being right too, hasn't it? But in all honesty, nothing would make me happier than to be wrong. The only housekeeping that I have is apparently I have some sort of transformation error going on with my Radiatron, with the green zone or whatever the last one was. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure what it is, and I'm kind of happy with him where he is, and I probably won't even fix it, because it's not really affecting stability. It's not going to make the ankles any stronger, or the issues that I do have with it is not going to be affected by it. But apparently there is an issue there, so for those that were following my transformation, be mindful. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started, and we are going to first start with the Toys Metroplex. So this started from this company that, as far as I know, had pretty much just done upgrade kits for your combiners, namely the combiners that were kind of in that Chugster piece scale between eras, Unique Toys Abominus, Orbitron, Computron, stuff like that, that upgraded them to the kind of the toy world standard. I thought they were genius. I didn't get any for myself, but I thought they were brilliant. I thought the designs were fantastic. And I've been publicly saying everywhere that I've wished them the best and hope that they go from a garage company to a company. The only other thing that I saw from them was a custom broadside, I believe, which also looked fantastic. Another 3D printed thing, looked great. Once again, just adding fuel to my own personal fire that I really wanted this company to be successful and take that next step. Well, that next step may have come in the shape of something 4 feet tall and perhaps been a large leap for most toys, which was this Metroplex. We've seen this Metroplex in tons of detail. We've seen CAD renderings. We've seen light up effects. We've seen hands. We've seen heads, we've seen torsos, we've seen legs, we've seen articulation. Like, they've shown us tons about it. The next thing that I know, a gentleman by the name of Lionel Hutz, or Hutz Lionel, I get confused on it, but he is involved with it as well to some degree. To what degree seems to be a little confusing, but it seems that he is a part of Like Toys from his own confessions. It was my understanding that they had just partnered, but I get the impression from what he's saying that he's a part of it. He has a Facebook group, I believe, Robot Trading Company, something like that. And he states that they are going to go to manufacturing with proper injection molding and the like. And I was excited to hear that. But I was also skeptical. It's an awfully ambitious piece to start with. For what seems to be a newcomer, it's going to be very expensive in my mind. Just the production process is going to be extremely expensive in my mind. And to my understanding, the whole design will kind of have to be reevaluated and retrofitted, like basically starting from scratch with a rough idea of concept to produce something that's injection molding. It's, to my understanding, the difference between a sculptor who sculpts with clay, with a pile of clay, making it into something, versus a sculptor who works from stone, kind of chiseling away at something. Not to say that one is one and one is the other, but to say that while they are both sculptors, it's a different practice altogether. Now, my thoughts and beliefs and conceptions of this have been backed by some people on the boards, toy designers, in fact, who have said basically exactly what I just said, that going from the 3D printed style prototype to designing for an actual injection mold is a completely different beast. Those same people have also been skeptical. Now, in the midst of all this, we get more pictures, more more updates, more everything, but all of it is 3D printed. So none of it is actually lending any credence to the actual injection molding process. So I was skeptical. And apparently a lot of other people were too. And there's nothing wrong with being skeptical. But then I saw posts and screenshots of this gentleman Lionel making posts that it's silly to be skeptical, that he's done this before, that it's no big deal. And cool. I mean, I love to hear it. I love to hear it. But the next thing that I hear is that the pre-orders are through his PayPal. Let me be crystal clear. I don't know him. That doesn't make him bad people. It doesn't make him trustworthy either, but it doesn't make him untrustworthy. I'm just telling you, I don't know him. But me personally, I know how long this process is gonna take. There's no PayPal coverage, whether it be friends and family or goods and services, to cover that investment to a PayPal address. It will expire. And I'm just not comfortable doing that. Now that's good for me because he made a statement that he's only currently working with previous customers, which I guess makes sense because there would be an established trust there, which I get. And then that money, I guess, would roll over into the next production, or he's even hinted at the next piece. Look, I don't work in the toy industry, so I'm ignorant, but I've met a number of people that do. And then I even saw it backed up by some people on the boards. The amount of injection molding, like the amount of metal, steel molds that you'll need for this project, it has the ability to run hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, that's not impossible. Nothing's impossible, right? But it does make me more skeptical. So I'm gonna say this, because a lot of people have been hitting me up about it. So I'm gonna close with this on this specific topic. I wish them the absolute best. I want them to be successful. I wasn't sure I would be in on CityBots at that scale, but there's a good chance I would go in on this Metroplex if they make it. But let me also be clear. I'm not sending PayPal money to anybody I don't know on a hope and a dream. And that's nothing personal to him. It could be anybody. There's a chance it could be you. I'm just not doing it. And here's my last thing, and I could be wrong. I haven't seen anything to make me think or to show signs or evidence that this is actually going into production. I just haven't seen it. But in the same breath, let me also be clear, it's not up to them to show me. It's none of my business, really. But if I were to go in on it without some sort of proper retailer backing it up, one that I trust personally, I probably wouldn't put any money up front, and I would need to buy it and have it secured through a credit card that I could control the payment. And I advise everyone to do the same. Not specifically to this person or this situation, to everything. Ever. You know what I mean? It would be different if it was like, look, this is coming in the next couple months, this is coming. You can pay goods and services and you're back, but that's not the situation here. So as a fan, I wish them the absolute best. I want them to succeed. Let me know if I can do anything to help. As a community member, I'm advising everybody to be cautious, and I think that's fair. So as you can see, I'm wearing a different shirt. And the reason for that is because I had to take down this video and update it with new information because it's only fair. Between the time where I did this video, which was 2 weeks ago now, and today, which is the day before you're seeing this video, I have been contacted by Lionel and we had a brief interaction. Shout out to Sam. I know a lot of Sams, but we have a mutual friend, Sam R. He heard that Lionel was looking for reviewers to take a look at the 3D prototype, the finished 3D prototype. Sam thought of me, which was very kind of him, and I appreciate it. And I think he linked us up. Lionel expressed some kind words about my content. I expressed mutual kind words about the Metroplex, which I do think looks great. And he asked if I would be interested in taking a look at the prototype. And I said yes, but I was going to review it as a 3D printed item and not as a retail release. There's no way I could review that and then recommend it as a retail release. It's apples and oranges, which he seemed to understand and said he would contact me when he was ready with a finished release, which sounds very optimistic, and I wish him the absolute best. I'm in all of these guys' corners. I would be more than happy to look at the 3D printed prototype, but I can't look at it in the same way that I look at a retail release or an official release. I told him that this video was coming. I told him that I'm skeptical about all of this stuff. I told him it was important for me to be upfront about all of that. He seemed to understand. We're all moving forward. I say that for a number of reasons. One, to keep you guys updated and abreast. I would imagine that a lot of reviewers are going to be looking at this 3D printed prototype. I don't blame them. It's good for business. It's good for their channels and growth. There's a lot of hype around the project. Just be aware when you watch it as a viewer of what it is. A 3D printed proof of concept, really. I don't even think it's fair to call it a prototype. So keep that in mind. It's really hard to get stuff like this and remain objective because you don't want to burn bridges and you understand how nice it was for them to trust you with the product. So as a viewer, you have to be a bit more savvy. That's one reason. Second reason is we talk about this gentleman a fair amount on this episode, and I wanted to be clear about my experience with him, and so far it's been nothing but positive. And I can only attest from my experience. I know he has a reputation that's up and down. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I can only account for my experience. And so far, it's been nothing but positive. But that being said, how I feel about this toy and the business surrounding it still remains. And I thought it was important to update both for him, for you guys, and about the future of the reviews that you'll probably be seeing in the next couple of months, I would imagine. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Moving on to our next one, Vectron Labs. Now, we spoke about this recently, and I told you that I was a little bit concerned with all of the ups and downs and changes of design and everything else, and it didn't seem to be a clear-cut plan, and it didn't really seem to have anything locked in stone. It just seemed like a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. Once again, a prayer and a wish. And I told you that I didn't necessarily think that this was ever going to come to fruition. But then pre-orders went up on Show Z, I believe, so that made it seem like it was way more likely. That is until recently, where both their artist and their designer seemingly walked away from the project. I know there's a language barrier here, so I could be misreading this. I want to be clear. But the way I see it, they both walked away. And they both walked away in a relatively small period of time. Now, Vectron Labs, I believe, has made posts about this, saying, like, don't be alarmed, don't be concerned, everything is fine here. But I got news for you. If everything was fine, those two people wouldn't have walked away. And when it comes to business, why do people walk away? Not get fired. That's not what happened here. Why do they resign? Look, the answer is, I don't know why they walked away, but when I see two people walk away from a business, two people that were on the artistic side of things, so we're talking about things that were in pre-production, right? One person was the designer. He had to design the plans for them to use. The other person was an artist. He had to draw. None of that has to do with the actual manufacturing, production, shipping, all that kind of stuff. This is all pre-production stuff. Not production, not post-production, pre-production. And when I see people step away into pre-production space, I always default to money. Money would be my guess. And I don't think people realize how expensive it is to produce figures. I don't think that most of you do. I don't think that even I have a firm understanding of it. And I don't think that a lot of these people that pop up with third-party ambitions have any concept. It is a lot of capital. Now, there's two types of ways to go into that, right? Me and my brothers go in on something with the idea that, look, we're going to spend money now in the hopes to make money later. That can work. Now, me and some guys go in as a business venture. Not everybody's risks are going to be in the same place. I, who own the company, the space, I'm going to have more risk, but I have to create the capital. So my guess would be that something went wrong right there. And I say that completely ignorant. I don't know. It's just what my intuition tells me. So that's another project that I'm not sure will ever see the light of day. And my guess would be now, just as it was a month ago, funding is the issue. My last one is the one that hurts me to say. And I want to stress again, it's not personal. And that's Half the Battle Toys. I would love for these guys to prove me wrong. You can go back through my channel. I've had them on here. I speak to one of them fairly regularly. They're nice guys. They're gentlemen. They've always been men of their word to me. No issues with them whatsoever. I wish them the best. I want to be wrong here more than the other two because I have a little bit of personal interaction with them. But there's nothing that suggests to me that it's going that way. We see 3D printed stuff. We see CAD stuff. It's the same, right? It's the same kind of symptoms that we're seeing throughout. But we're not seeing anything that lends itself to suggest that it's actually going to factory production. And you know why? Because it's hard. It's not easy. And it's expensive. And a lot of people need a lot of funding and a lot of capital to get that ball rolling. And my guess is they can't get it going. Now, in my house, can't is a 4-letter word, mind you. So I do believe in all of these folks. I believe in creators. But CAD drawings and 3D prints are never suggestive of anything actually happening. People hit me up about this stuff all the time. And they're like, are you in? And I'm like, look, I'm not in on anything until I see some sort of evidence that is actually happening. One, I don't trust half of what I see. The only thing I trust is my shipping notice. Everything else is smoke and mirrors. I've been around this block too many times to believe all of this stuff that I'm supposed to believe from this. It's marketing, it's branding, it's rollout, it's exciting, it's momentum, it's all the stuff that we talk about on this channel. But that doesn't necessarily lend itself to actual physical properties. And I hate to say it. I know you hate to hear it, but I'm not seeing it with these three. But I hope I'm wrong. And if I had to pick a fourth, you know what it would be. Fans Toys Minnesota. But anyway, that's it for today. I'll be back next week. I want to stress one more time, I hope those companies understand that I wish them all the best. It's not an attack on them. It's just how I feel as a consumer, reading the room and looking at the field. Prove me wrong. Nothing would make me happier. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.